aka Richard Wood, waking up with you guys, chilling like a villain, just tired. Woke up a few hours ago, just hanging out, watching the news. What's up, Al Roker? Long time no see. What's up, Al Sharpton? Sorry about all the stuff and all the funerals, but that's your guys' jobs, is those funerals, and I know that I can't keep that. I cry at the drop of a hat due to my depression. And America may not view us at wartime, but we are, with the Ukraine war going on, and there's other wars going on in the world. So, Joe Biden, I humbly accept your appointment at all times, but again, I would also like to work from home and do the live streaming. And if I have a debrief, I'll just send you a text, and you feel free to call me whenever you can, bud. You guys rock at the White House. You guys have been more than supportive of my career. I know I'm not taking on any more personal lawyers. If you want a job at my law firm, you can duly apply at CGW law offices or one of the other firms that I work at. Not really too much into hanging out or having anyone over. So just make the NBA and NFL well aware of that, and the NHL. Ari, I miss you. Selena, I miss you. Taylor, I miss you. Camila, I miss you. Avril, I miss you. Mia, Paris, you guys rock. I miss you guys, all 6 of you, people from Northland Bible Baptist and First Baptist Cokato, I miss you guys too. So I'm just hanging out at home and being tired, overworked and underpaid. Just pouring coffee in the morning. That's my job, according to Joy Carroll. I was just making coffee. Notice how I can say that with a straight face. Right. Being annoyed by my tenants. Other than that, I'm just hanging out. Just waiting for people to log on here. This will be about a 10-minute episode. Just quick 10-minute short. Just to tell you what's going on. Check out the morning update show. You can get the QR code from WCCO.com. Check out WCCO.com/connect to check out their live streaming show.
This is showing us how you can take in spring flowers at the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum. Here's a look at the 4 things you need to know for today. Number 1, today marks 1 year since Minneapolis police shot and killed Amir Locke in his cousin's apartment.
And yes, I have a freelance journalism contract, which is pretty cool. I'd like to renew that, Al Roker. You can get on that. I'd like to get accredited at the White House for that as well and hook up with their team online. I don't get too many texts from them except for on Twitter, so Facebook can hook that up. I'll hit follow on them here in a bit.
Also, the House will take a floor vote on a bill allowing Minnesotans with felony convictions to vote immediately.
WCCO, I don't agree with that.
Once again, the Dow futures are lower by more than 100 points. It's a big start, though. NASDAQ pointing to a much better start. So the rate of our money is now 4.75%. Number 4, yes, it is Groundhog Day. And within the last half hour, Phil saw his shadow in Pennsylvania. So what does that mean? Well, legend says it looks like we're looking at 6 more weeks of winter.
6 more weeks of winter, yay.
Has only been right 40% of the time over the last decade. So we like to go to our next weather meteorologist.
Good morning. Nice suits, guys.
Temperatures, again, highs overall today are going to be this morning. So the numbers that you're seeing will pretty much be early today, and then temps will continue to fall throughout the afternoon. So looking at the metro specifically, notice how by the evening commute, we're in the single digits. Tonight, we fall below 0. Waking up tomorrow morning.
It's going to be pretty chilly in Minnesota tomorrow morning.
Tonight and tomorrow. For that reason, the cold temperature, wind chills down about 30 below, and then we flip-flop. And it's going to be much warmer over the weekend. Look at that. Lower 30 Saturday on Sunday, staying dry. Even
that wind chill on Friday is going to be bad.
There's a slight chance of a bright snow mix on Monday and also on Wednesday. A little breezy on Tuesday, but temperatures are going to stay well above average, so a chance to finally thaw out for a little bit.
I was going to say, finally get a chance to chip away at some of that ice, but we haven't had to wait a week to do that.
No, we have not. But look at this. It's 6:59 now. Longest
it's
time of
nice.
year when we can
It's
start
early.
seeing the sunshine.
Red sky in the morning. Good morning, WCCO.
Returning now, so we'll give you the exact timing on when that big cool down will start as we are tracking this next weather alert. Then is now the right time for you to buy a home? Why today's interest rates may mean the answer for some people might actually be yes. And the push to bring more diversity to Minnesota classrooms, what state lawmakers are doing to try to get more teachers of colors in our Minnesota schools.
I wish they would have had them in my school.
Morning update on CBS News Minnesota.
Other than Tupac Omar Shakur.
Straight over to next weather meteorologist Rob with a forecast, because rather we're really looking for the timing on when those temps are going to start to drop.
Yeah, we did the next weather alert that will begin coming in for us today as well. Now, this is going to be generally coming in for your afternoon and evening. So we're going to be dealing with falling temperatures today. Also, that next weather alert continuing into Friday. Now, wind chills are going to be generally between about 35 or at least 20 to 30 below zero for us waking up tomorrow morning. So it's going to be breezy. You're waking up this morning and you may find some of the clouds out there. We may see a few flurries early this morning, but other than that, we're going to stay sunny. The highs are going to start this morning right about.
I'll have you handle that.
Yeah, single digits. So
same with Obama.
Expected even into tomorrow with highs in the single digits, and then as we get into the weekend, we're going to begin a warm up. In fact, temperatures are going to be back in the 30s by the time we roll around into the weekend. So again, next weather alert begins today. That wind chill advisory begins at 6 p.m.
No, I don't mind white people. You please, I'm not that racist. I joke around a lot on my show. You know, I'm a little mean. I'm part white, like 32 or 34% anyway.
So we've really only seen one crash out there that has now since cleared. So no major slowdown. So if you are getting out to work, to school at this time of morning, you should have your normal Thursday morning smooth sailing. New this morning, we are.
Let me get my coffee.
Police and sheriff's deputies with Hennepin County did have that parking lot locked up with journalists, overnight photojournalists, saw some evidence markers and the mobile command post vehicle at the scene. We have reached out to Bloomington Police and are still waiting to hear back. Also, we're looking out for your money this morning. We are all feeling the pain at the pump right now. So
Mommy Warbucks over here.
According to numbers from AAA. So you got a regular gallon of gas in Minnesota. That was a $3.40. Peaking last summer was a record high. Since then, the gas prices really plunged over the fall, but now they've gone right back up. So what's the deal with the sudden increase?
A lot of it had to do with the weather. We had that terrible winter storm at the end of December.
Yeah, so AAA is saying that this holiday storm forced a lot of the refineries to shut down, and that leads to disruptions in the supply chain. While the weather has gotten better, it's taken a while for those companies to catch back up. So that's where you get those steady price hikes. Things starting to level off now. The experts say, yeah, it might not last for long. A lot of refineries about to shut down. This is normal scheduled annual maintenance, and that does impact output, just as the demand for gas is about to go up for the spring driving season. So some analysts predict that gas.
Sorry to preempt you, Tony and Ray and Mark Z.
By March. This morning is also going to cost you more to borrow money, but that isn't necessarily all bad news. Federal Reserve.
And if it happens, I'll be surprised.
Costs under control. That did raise its key interest rate once again, but it didn't raise it as much as before. This time it's just 1/4 percentage point, and that's because they say inflation is starting to slow down. See that green spike there, right at that sort of 245 mark? That's the stock market rallying during the announcement yesterday. Traders think that those rate hikes may be soon coming to an end. So this interest hike comes after national numbers showing that the demand for homes is dropping. But what's happening here in the Twin Cities? We got our Pauline Lee looking at this morning, taking a closer look because, demand might have dropped, but prices certainly haven't, Pauline.
Yeah, that's right. So it's kind of hard to say what's going to happen with this latest interest rate hike, especially since mortgage rates, they were actually dropping just a bit before this recent hike, now hovering right around maybe 6.2 or so. And you also have to factor in right now, this time of year, housing market, a little slow in Minnesota. No one really wants to move in the wintertime. Springtime, it picks up a bit. And actually, one realtor I spoke with says past several weeks, things have picked up, and that's actually earlier than what we've seen in years past. So, and because of this, Ray Magpour, who's a realtor with Sale Real Estate, says that they could be once again seeing a busy year for home buying as the temperatures warm. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be as busy as what we saw last summer, but things are now normalizing, and homes are currently staying on the market an average of just under 30 days here in the Twin Cities. She says now it's becoming more of a fair game between buyers and sellers.
We are seeing seller concessions, right? Closing costs being paid half or even all by sellers. There's negotiations that are happening that are benefiting your buyers. We didn't see that a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? We didn't.
No, we didn't. I know.
My ass.
Should you wait until the interest rates go down, maybe 4s and 5s? If we do that, though, just be aware housing prices, they could go up because it's a little bit easier to borrow money. It could also mean you'd have to offer a little bit more over the asking price. So if you have any questions, if you're looking to buy a home, experts say do what's best for you in your situation. Everyone's situation a little bit different. And first step, talk to a lender. See what your monthly mortgage rate is going to be.
We shall all burn in hell.
Inspections are becoming more common once again. All right, Pauline, thank you. So at the state capitol today, push to crack down on car crimes as well as restoring the right to vote. Caroline Cummings explains just how lawmakers plan to do that and how these bills could impact you.
Good morning. Here are a couple of bills we're following at the Capitol today on Thursday. Number one, later this morning, there's a bill that would allow law enforcement to put mobile tracking devices on stolen vehicles. The idea that it would reduce high-speed chases to track down a suspect that can be really dangerous, and that bill has bipartisan support. Then later this afternoon, a hearing on a bill that would establish a commission to redesign the state seal and the state flag. The state flag we have today, that one with the blue background, has been in place since 1957, and some lawmakers say they ought to reimagine the flag, and this commission would submit a report to the legislature with some new idea. Then, coming up later this afternoon and into the evening, the Minnesota House will take up a bill that would allow people with felony convictions who are still on probation or parole to cast a ballot. Right now,
No.
you cannot cast a ballot. You do not have your voting rights if you are still on probation and parole.
CGW, get involved in squashing that. Nancy, you too. Joe Biden.
Juneteenth, a state holiday. 19th is a federal holiday already, and it commemorates the end of slavery in the United States. So we will keep you updated on all platforms about where these bills end up, all on WCCO.
Caroline, thank you. So in addition to some of those measures there, Senate committee.
Good luck, Noah. After you get out of jail, you can go ahead for defamation and slander.
Between how many students in the classroom are Black, Indigenous, or people of color, and how many teachers look like them. So Shayla Reed's joining us this morning from the state capitol because Shayla, lawmakers, they've been talking about this for a long time, but have some ideas. And
Same with you, Mark and Denise Peterson, and Stocking.
Just this week, a measure did get some support in the Senate. It was able to advance. And this is a measure that we learned is expanding and strengthening some of those provisions in the Teachers of Color Act. Now, this is
Change those to RGB, Tim Waltz, the lights on the Capitol.
new benchmarks for increasing the number of BIPOC teachers by 2% each year, so all students have access to diverse.
Didn't they have that plan in the 90s?
Teachers coming to Minnesota from out of state. Right now, 37% of Minnesota students identify as Black, Indigenous, or people of color, compared to just 6% of the state's teachers. Sarah Lancaster teaches first grade in Armenia and said she is the only teacher of color in her district.
At my new school, they knew how to handle difficult situations because there are more teachers of color. Please pass the Teachers of Color Act so more kids can feel happy in their schools.
So that was actually a young student in St. Paul that.
Yeah, I get more angry about lower test scores and not IQs.
In her classroom yesterday.
Because we're still competing with China.
Is a need for more diverse teachers in the classroom. Now, continuing this conversation on education, there are a couple of meetings coming up today in less than a couple of hours. We know first that the Senate Education, Finance, and the Senate Health and Human Services Committee are holding a joint hearing on early childhood issues in Minnesota. That's coming up this morning, as well as Educators for Excellence in Minnesota.
Kathleen Gabriel, CGW, give the Minnesota school districts a grant for computers. Get them all Alienwares up to 1,200 computers.
After someone shot him outside of his school.
Jamari Rice.
So friends and family gathered on Wednesday night to remember Jamari Rice. He was the teenager who was shot and killed outside of Richfield South Education Center by two men that Rice's family says he didn't even know. 20-year-old Alfredo Solis was convicted of assault, but acquitted on 5 other charges and sentenced to 3 years in prison. But on February 1st, exactly 1 year after Rice's murder, there was a plea deal. The other person involved, 19-year-old Fernando Alvarez, admitted that he fired the gun. He will serve 23 years in prison. A judge will formally sentence Alvarez later on this month. So today marks 1 year since Amir Locke was shot and killed by Minneapolis police. You may recall that all of this happened when a SWAT team in Minneapolis tried to execute a search warrant in an apartment building where Locke had been staying with his cousin. So his death led to outrage, protests, and a peak in public interest into no-knock warrants. Locke was not named in that warrant, was sleeping on the couch when those
with a gun
into the apartment. 22-year-old was holding a gun while he was sleeping. He started to get up when Officer Mark Hanneman opened fire, and then later told investigators that he used deadly force because he feared for his life.
Which is true.
Prosecutor chose not to file criminal charges against him.
Thank you, Keith Olson.
From a homicide investigation in St. Paul. Back in July, Mackay Speed was sentenced to 16 years in prison for the murder of Otis Elder. Speed was 17 at the time of Elder's death. Today, happy Groundhog's Day to all those who celebrate. Puxatawny Phil made his prediction this morning. There he is, just chilling out there. He saw the shadow. So according to legend, that means there will be 6 more weeks of winter. I think it always means there will always be 6 more weeks of winter in Minnesota.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
They get it right about 40% of the time. So, I mean,
47. Watch Groundhog Day.
I'm going with this one. Traditions are fun. It's a party out there in Pennsylvania. So even if it's just a little, what do you think? This is our question of the day. Scan the QR code there to be able to vote, and we'll check back in.
Goodbye, Kelly Zwick. Stop gambling.
Just relieve a little bit of your shopping guilt. We're going to tell you all about it when we get back. Plus, a bump in pay for some local athletes with a salary increase for Whitecaps players means for the future of pro women's hockey.
When weather turns extreme, CBS
Feel the forecast. Feel the streaming on WCCO.com.
Then they are built in our very own factory. Owned by
Discover the difference. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Call or go online to your free estimate at
championmyhome.com.
Sunday jogger. Fabric on this jogger is absolutely incredible. It's got a more tailored, modern fit, making it super versatile, and it has a zip pocket to secure your belongings. Whether you're lounging around the house or you're putting yourself through a tough workout at the gym, this Sunday has you covered.
Baggy fit sounds cool.
Is my everyday. So, daily art.
I never have time to talk about
I
it. It's
won't.
the only way to your brain can actually like it. It's ice. It's not. There's spinach in there.
I don't want to eat hyper-processed food just because I'm short on time. Daily art.
Or salty foods or too sugary foods and stuff can each increase your heart rate or give you diabetes.
Sometimes you might not feel ready for the moment. Is Roman at your side?
We got this.
You can take care of erectile dysfunction discreetly.
No, I don't need that.
Roman ready.
Didn't want to get into credit cards, but I realized I didn't know anything about it, and it felt very risky to me. So my friend told me about Chime. I got the credit builder card. It was crazy. I didn't have to worry about interest. I didn't worry about fees. There wasn't a credit check. My score is up 80 points. I just finished my feature film, and it feels like there's a future ahead to where we're saving up to buy a house. Look, if I can do it, you can do it too. Join me at Chime.com.
It's important to our nation.
I wonder how you think about where America is at this moment.
It's on Face the Nation.
Can there be stability if Vladimir Putin remains in power?
Yay.
Has announced a new membership program.
It's called the Giveaway Insiders, and there's a free plan and also one that charges you. So here's what you get. With the free version, every dollar you spend and register on the mall's app gets you 1 point. You can later redeem those points for things like ride passes and other rewards. Now, the paid version is the same thing, except it costs you $35 a year, and you get 5 points for every dollar you spend. If you have questions about how this all came about, you're not alone. Our Jeff Wagner spoke with U of M marketing professor George John about the service.
Sign me up for it, Kathleen Gabriel.
Similar hours of operation. They have defined what you're going to sell in each store. So it's a curated set.
I still want to be involved, Donald Trump, in the Mall of America. Really, I do. Just I don't want to go there every day.
Have we now jumped the shark on membership programs? You know, are there
Yes. Your instincts are absolutely right. Think about how many credit cards people have, and they all have needs and whatnot. My guess is, just like Disney World tried to do this, I'm guessing they're actually targeting this program more at the local area, the regional area, because we're the folks who make repeat visits. If you're a visitor flying in from the UK and you go to the mall and you buy something,
Atypical mall experience.
quite a while. It's not going to be very effective. But for you and me, we live close by, so they haven't said this, but my guess is that's who they're targeting.
And the taxes in West Bloomington is what causes those prices to go up.
More valuable than the rewards you actually get back. More of Jeff's interview is on our website and streaming on CBS News Minnesota. Throughout the month of February, we are recognizing and celebrating the Black Americans who created change in our country during Black History Month.
There's a special exhibit. It's highlighting that progress. It's called Testify. It is now open at the Minneapolis Central Library, which is in downtown. And there you can find more than 100 pieces of African American art and artifacts from the Diane and Alec Page collection on display.
Why share them? Because we live in a time from inception of this nation.
This exhibit has not been open since 2018, but it was the library's most popular exhibit. There will be special days for conversations on voting rights, criminal justice, and education reform. So our women's pro hockey team got a huge win, and we're not just talking about the game.
No, the salary cap for the Minnesota Whitecaps more than doubled, allowing the players to be paid a living wage next season. The premier hockey
Try Noah.
went from $300,000 last
You
season.
guys should all have a morning meeting at Howard Lake PD with Champlain PD. You guys will just love the police blotters.
Next season, many of them can make the team their full-time job.
I think it helps legitimize women's
Same
hockey
with you right in Hennepin County Sheriffs.
And again, I think it just adds value to what we're doing here.
The salary increase also benefits the program as a whole. This season, they were able to use the money to move to make Richfield Arena their home ice. They also have their own locker rooms, training rooms, and first advertising rights. So we want to get back to the question of the day. It's Groundhog Day. And if legend is right, we will have another 6 weeks of winter because Phil, the groundhog, saw his shadow.
You know, shocking, right? That here in Minnesota, we'll get 6 more weeks of winter from the beginning of February. But that aside, I think you all know how I feel about this. But legends and traditions are kind of fun, right? Can his shadow really predict just how long this winter will last? That is what we have been asking you. You can chime in, scan the QR code.
70% saying yes.
Really?
I believe in the legend
No.
of Groundhog Day.
You know what? That's great.
Their summer winter seasons are different than ours.
That groundhog, maybe the groundhog is picked up and thrust into the air, and maybe somehow in his little tiny groundhog voice will whisper to that man who is thrusting him into the air. I saw that shot.
I saw the shadow. Now, I'm trying to, last year, do you remember if Phil saw his shadow last year?
I saw a shadow last year.
Because
if I
last
remember
year,
correctly.
winter didn't last, lasted for how long? April?
Oh, how long does it sometimes goes to May? So, you know, AJ, sometimes it snows in April.
Yep.
I don't know if you've known of this musician named Prince. But, you know, cost of
I
time.
wonder how that happened.
So scan the QR code on your screen. Go to wcco.com/connect if you'd like to chime in.
Teaching you skills that can be the difference between life and death. Later on in the show, what first aid you should know. Jeff Wagner answers that good question when we come back.
Yeah, I'm a Leica and an LICW, so I see a lot of this stuff. So I'm used to it, but I don't like it. Like, I get no personal time while I'm here, even though my door is shut. So I kind of have to listen to them, the news, and what's going on in the living room and the rest of the house. So
Anything about it, and it felt very risky to me. So my friend told me about Chime. I got the credit builder card, and it was crazy. I didn't have to worry about interest.
get the Chime card. I've tried it. It's pretty cool.
My score is up 80 points. I just finished my feature film, and it feels like there's a future ahead to where we're saving up to buy a house. Look, if I can do it, you can do it too. Join me at chime.com.
We really need to get that life insurance.
It's just a lot.